Welcome back to another episode of 100 Apps, 100 Hours. I'm your host, Bryant for Directus, and today is a very ambitious hour. I've got no clue how this is actually going to go, but we are going to try and build an AI Copilot that sits right alongside our data inside our backend, which is Directus. All right, if you're new to the show, 100 apps, 100 hours. We have 60 minutes to plan and build an application, a clone of Airbnb, something we can actually ship and pat ourselves on the back at the end of the day. Or, more oftentimes than not, we struggle and then we fail publicly. Sometimes that stinks, but it's all in good fun. The second rule of 100 apps, 100 hours is use whatever you have at your disposal. So AI tools, past projects, if my kids could code at this point, I'd probably leverage them. But should be a fun episode today. Let's dive in and try and figure out what we're actually doing. Let's put 60 minutes on the clock. Boom, AI Copilot, go. So at this stage of the game, AI is very impossible to ignore, and chatbots are everywhere, very commonplace. Lots of folks using Claude, ChatGPT on a daily basis. Even my kids are aware of what it is. So what we're going to do is try to build an AI Copilot into our Directus instance. So I've got this blank Directus instance. I'm imagining this as a module. Directus is super flexible as a backend and a CMS because we got full control over what's going on. I'm imagining it as a module with like a standard chat interface. I don't know if we'll get there or not, but let's just discuss functionality, right? We want to be able to chat with AI models. Specifically LLM models, cat. You have to actually learn to spell, Bryant. All right, we want to be able to chat with the LLMs. We want to be able to use tool calling, I think that's the technical term, to fetch Directus data. Data stored in Directus. Data stored in Directus. We want to do all this through a beautiful chat interface. All right. That's our functionality, right? We're going to probably have, as far as our data model, we'll have like a conversations to like persist these. We've also got our data, which I'm going to leverage some of our existing like starter templates. Great. Okay. So there's the arrows drawn in the sand. Let's dive into this thing. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to load up some sample data. So what I want to do is go in here and create a token. I could just use my standard password as well, but we're just going to copy that out. This is set up at localhost 8055. I'm going to come into the terminal, open up a new terminal instance here. And once that spins up, I'm going to do Directus npx. I guess I can make this big so we can actually see it, right? Directus template CLI at latest. Apply is the command I'm going to run. And this should load up some templates for me, or the ability to load a template. Fetching, okay. So we're going to apply a community template. Looks great. Let's just do our simple CRM for this one. The simple website CMS, super excited about that template. I love that one. For like a assistant, maybe CRM makes more sense. So we're defaulting to 8055. Just going to add my token in there. And you could probably steal this token this instance is going to be destroyed, and I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody can figure out how to get access to my local host. We got a lot of really great hackers out there in the community. That template was applied successfully, and now I'm just going to hit reload, and the first thing I see is Michael Scott there. All right, so now I've got some sample data to at least work with. We got some organizations. Great. So let's dive into how we're actually going to pull this off. If I map this out, basically what we're going to take advantage of are extensions in Directus. Extensions. Two types specifically, right? So for secure communications to our LLMs, we want to have a API proxy endpoint. So we're going to set up an endpoint, and I'm pretty confident we can get this done. The actual chat UI, I'm not sure. That will be what we call a module. So a module is basically just whatever functionality that you want. We give you tools like composables to access data inside the Directus instance, and then we give you free reign. So like a good example of a module is our command bar or command palette. This is an extension that you can install from the marketplace. What it does is it adds a command K search to every bit of Directus, so I can quickly search no matter where I'm at, whether I'm on contacts and I want to search organizations, blah, blah, blah. It also comes with like a settings page, and it's MIT licensed. So, if you are looking at building like a custom module, this is a good one to copy because it has a ton of functionality, and I had a small hand in it. Kudos to Hannes from our team for just making this freaking wicked awesome one. All right, but back to the task at hand. We're going to create a custom endpoint for this. So locally, I'm not sure if you can see this or not. We've got our databases here, and then we just got this extensions folder. There's the registry, which is when you install extensions from the marketplace. We're just going to create a new extension for this. So I'm going to open up this inside the terminal somewhere. Get this back to a reasonable level where I can actually develop. And I'm going to do npx create Directus dash extension at latest. Just look at the screen. I'm terrible at narrating. We'll go ahead and install this. Been a minute since I've done this. And we offer another type of extension where it is, which is called a bundle. So a bundle is basically wrapper. Like we're building a ChatGPT wrapper. A bundle is essentially a wrapper where we can like bundle some extensions together. That's a bundle, right? We can distribute an endpoint and a module within a bundle. That's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. We're going to do bundle. We're going to call this Directus. Let's just call it AI Copilot. That's what we'll call it. Yes, we want to auto install dependencies. And now inside our extensions folder, you can see Directus is fleshing this out for us. We've got the Directus extensions SDK. And then we can see there's nothing else in here, right? So the next thing that we want to do is cd AI Copilot. And we're going to hit npm run add so that we can add an extension to this bundle. If you're not using a bundle, like it should automatically initiate the extension type for you. But in this case, we want to do an endpoint. We're going to call this chat endpoint. Let's use TypeScript, and this will create a new Directus endpoint for us. Very simple. You'll notice like a request response here behind the scenes, just an Express app. And next, we're going to talk about what we're actually going to use. Giving myself a seizure here, switching back and forth. So I've been experimenting in other projects with the AI SDK from Vercel. That's what we're going to use here and try to get as far as we can and try to make this really nice in a short period of time. So let's fire this up, right? Docs. What do we need to install first, right? Do I want to use OpenAI or Anthropic? I think I've got an Anthropic API key locally already. Do I not do env? Yes, I do have a API key locally. Great. So let's do that, right? We are going to do an overview. We want to install PMPM AI. We're going to use Anthropic as a provider. AI SDK Anthropic. And because we're using Express here, we're going to want to import Express as well, or install Express. We're probably also going to want to have Zod, right? If we get into like the tool calling, Zod is a big one. So we'll add Zod. That should give us the tools that we need to work on this. And let's just look at our custom endpoint now, right? The next thing I'm going to do is hit PMPM dev inside this. This will set up a watcher for our extension. And I'm just going to stop our container and restart just so it picks up that extension now that we've built it. And what this is going to do, it should now be available at /chat endpoint. Let's see. Localhost. So if I refresh, we should see that extension. There's our chat endpoint. Let's hunt down the URL for this. Chat endpoint. Hello world. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. Great. So how can we control that if we want? Set up some of this documentation here. All right. So the next thing that we're going to want to specify, I could specify like an endpoint or an ID for this when we define the endpoint, right? If I put these up side by side, export defaults, we're going to call this the chat. We're going to have a handler for this, and in the handler, we'll provide the router and the context. All right. Now we save. This should reload because I've got that set. And now if we load this again, chat endpoint doesn't exist, but now chat will, right? Great. So now we can control what we want that endpoint to show up as. Awesome. All right. What's next, right? We're going to actually pull this in and set this up. All right. So a couple things that we're going to do that you probably noticed here, right? If we want to pull the API key from our environment, we're going to want to actually pull that out, right? So let's destructure this. We're also going to, do we actually need that? No. Let's just keep it simple for now. Let's look at this AI SDK, and we're going to import create Anthropic, and we're going to create an Anthropic client. Create Anthropic API key. We're going to leave the base URL the same. Great. I'm not sure why we're duplicating that. All right, we're going to add a router. This is going to be a post method. So let's now take a look at, did I have an express option in here? Okay, so here's what a typical express setup might look like. So we're going to import Z from Zod. We'll go ahead and import Zod. Let's also do stream text from AI. We're going to use a router.post. And let's see what AI comes up with. Message request.body stream 2020. What's the newer model there? Provider instance, Anthropic provider. Does this list out their models? Okay, yeah, here's the latest model for Claude Sonnet. That's what we're going to use in this case. And we got messages, role, user content, message. We're just going to send the stream. What is there a helper inside here for this? Result dot stream. Result dot pipe stream to response. Let's call this the result. All right, and let's see if this is actually going to give us what we want. All right, so we post a message. This should send something to the AI. I'm just going to go into 100 apps. We're going to create a new request. We'll say HTTP localhost 8055/chat. Oh, that's the name and not the actual URL. Chat. All right, we got a body. We're going to create a JSON body. It's going to have a message. What is 2 plus 2? Send HTTP request, wrong version number, error prototype, blah, 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 blah. Maybe we should wrap this in a try catch. See what we got. Oh, clean that up for me. Oh, no. Try catch. Console.log.error. Do we have formatting? I do have some formatting enabled in this. Let's just try to send the result. Send result. Extensions reloaded. What is this showing? Stream text, create Anthropic API key. Console.log. Do we have the actual env? We do have the env. Did I name it the correct thing? Oh, God, what an idiot. HTTPS should be HTTP. Base stream. Send result. I don't know that the actual Bruno here will like handle streaming. What if we just tried like generate text? Generate text. Await. Let's just make sure this is going to actually work first before we get crazy with it. Generate text results.send result. All right, let's pull a chat over here. What's 2 plus 2? We hit send. Okay. What is 2 plus 2? Finish reason. 2 plus 2 equals 4. There's the text we get back. Okay, so now we've got like some type of AI proxy going on, right? Let's jump to like tool calling at this point. We have like 40 minutes left. I read through the documentation for this. Not sure we're going to get this correct, but all right. This may be where we just lean on AI to build AI and call it good. What I'm going to do, let's just copy all of this, right? This wouldn't be fun if we didn't like make it super meta and have AI create AI. Let's say something like this. Here's the documentation for tool calling with Vercel AI SDK in Node. Create a tool for fetching data from the Directus instance using the items service. All right, so when it comes to like custom endpoints in Directus, one of the things that you do have access to is all the services that we use internally as in Directus, and hopefully this is going to do a somewhat decent job of that. We'll kind of see what it comes up with. But if I take a look at like the extension docs and we go to extension services, like how do I access items, right? Whenever I define a custom endpoint, we receive the router instance that we can plug into, and then we get this context. So the context has the env, has our services, it has this helper function for getting the schema, and then we define a new item service based on the collection that we're going to call, right? Let's see what we come up with. So I'm just going to hit apply. We'll kind of go through this. We got stream text, generate text, item service. This looks okay. We're also going to need schema services, get schema. We're going to need that as well. All right, so what is this actually doing? It's creating tools, multiple rounds, query from a Directus collection. What's the filter? Just optional filter object equals await get.schema. Request dot accountability. Can we just leave that part off? That will be read by query, filter, success, return the items, the count, accept the file, await generate text. Something is off here. We got like one too many. Where are we going wrong? There we go. Okay. All right, so hopefully if we invoke this tool, there's a description. Now let's try a new message, and let's just ask it, let's pull up Directus, right? Simple question, right? Like how many organizations do we have? How many organizations are in our Directus instance? there are 6 organizations in the Directus instance. These are Health Plus, Technova, Solar Tech, Tesla. Boom. So nailed it spot on. We can see kind of what's going on here. There's the context that we provided. I guess I could see like the answers there. It's great. I'll help you. Okay. So there's the actual organizations. Cool. So now we've got kind of this tool calling functionality into this endpoint, which is pretty nice. Do we want to make it aware of the schema of Directus? I'm not sure, like, is this giving it enough information or... Tools, query collection. What does our actual schema look like, right? Console log, await. Console schema equals await get schema. Oh, it's gonna be an async handler. Console.log schema. We'll just stop logging that. Directus flows, schema, deals, activities, deal contacts. Yeah. So the other thing to note that this could get expensive pretty quickly. All right. Okay, so now we are cooking at least with something, right? Let's try to go in and focus on like this chat interface, right? Now, how are we going to do that? We're going to go back to our extension. I'm going to disable this for now. We're going to hit npm run add. We want to add a module for this. So this will give us a, we'll call this the Copilot module or the chat module, whatever. There we go. So this is going to add another folder within our AI Copilot. So now we got the chat endpoint. We've got the Copilot module. And within this module, now if we just build this, we should see this module becoming available in our settings for the project. Custom module. There we go. So I can actually define this, right? So each module, or a lot of the interface extensions, have this index.ts. So we're going to call this our Copilot module. Let's call it Directus AI Copilot. And magic. Is it going to be magic? Oh, there's not a magic icon. What do we have as far as icons? Designer OCD gets me every time. A recovering designer. What is that one called? Magic button. Magic button. See if that gets us where we want to be. Discard. Refresh. There we go. All right, so I'm going to enable this. We're going to move it up to the very tippy top. There's our module. Here's our custom content. Boom, diddy boom. It's just a simple view component, right? We can get as complex or as detailed as we want. On the client side here, we have access to some composables, right? So on the back end, like the Node.js side, we've got like this item service we can call. On our other extensions, where's the extension types? There we go. Like interfaces, for example, accessing internal systems. We can access like stores through this. We can also access like the use API or the SDK. Great. we'll just pull in the API. And now let's look at the documentation. So by no means am I an expert here, and this is probably where things are going to get pretty hairy. Like if we recap, we've got a proxy endpoint. We've implemented just a tool to fetch Directus data and include that in our Copilot. Now we need to actually build this, like this chat UI that we're so used to seeing, right? And Directus is using Vue, which I love Vue. Vue is amazing. Most of these AI like pre-built chat UIs are React based. So if you know of a good one that's for Vue, for building chatbots really quickly, let me know. So let's go here to SDK UI, right? They do have support for like Vue.js. I see that here, this use chat function. We're going to need that AI SDK Vue. So we might as well go ahead and install that as well. AI SDK Vue. Okay. There's the API endpoint, conversational interface. Is there like a simple recipe for this? Stream text with a chat prompt. All right, so again, this might be a great thing to lean on AI for. Using, here's a React example from the Vercel AI SDK. Or actually, let's just piggyback off that last chat. Let's see. Here's a React example for chat UI from Vercel AI SDK. Oh, actually have to show that. Build a Vue version of this that works with our chat endpoint. There we go. See what AI comes up with. So it's creating another composable. Why are we... Just use the built-in use chat from Vue AI SDK. How do I go back to that? Chatbot, AI SDK, chatbot. That was what, under the API reference? Use chat Vue. And I just AI SDK Vue. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We got some messages. We got V button, V text area. Now, all right, let's try and look at what's going on here. Handle submit, use chat, use API, AI Copilot, message content. So here's our messages. The V text area, V button, these are built-in components within Directus. It is using Tailwind, which we don't use Tailwind in Directus. So use vanilla CSS instead. And then we can hit save and see if this is actually going to work, right? Now, I will tell you, like I've been using Cursor a lot, recording this season of 100 apps, 100 hours. I like it a lot, especially for prototyping. I find myself definitely suspect of the code sometimes, so don't just tab, 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 accept. You know, be very deliberate. And before you ship anything to production, make sure you test all this and go back and understand what's going on. This is not going to work, obviously. I just know our variable syntax. All of these have dash theme dash dash in there. So hopefully this solves that. But those are the things that you got to watch. And sometimes where like the AI Copilot stuff can get in the way, right? How many organizations are in Directus? There is no icon button here. What would that be? Send. Google material symbols. Is there a send? There is a send. We don't have a icon prop here as well, so we're going to do something like this, like v icon name equals send. That should give us the icon that we're looking for. Yeah, there we go. Okay. How many organizations are in Directus? All right, so is this actually going to work? Who knows? We'll see. Chat is not coming back. Internal server error. There's the messages. I don't think we're going to need to pass the ID of this, right? So if we look for a unique identifier for the chat, let's not use that. We got /chat. Where is the localhost /chat? All right. If we look at our endpoint, right, we need to adjust this, right? We're going to do stream text. And we want to do the result for that. So we're going to pipe that stream. Messages, content.messages. What is the example for this look like? Is there, where's that node? Like so much of development for me is diving through documentation and just bouncing back and forth. Express. You can set up an Express server, stream, generate text, stream text with a chat prompt. Stream object, stream. Stream text. You probably just want to look at like the actual APIs here. Stream text. What are we passing to stream text? We've got messages that we're going to pass. So those are just going to be coming from the body, right? Those are going to be messages. We'll just pass those messages. And is that going to get us what we want? Tools is already there. Do we need like a max tokens? No. All right. Let's just see how far this gets us. How many organizations are in Directus? Okay, there's the, so we're seeing the response. I can see the actual response there, but I'm not seeing it show up in our actual module here, right? Messages. All right. Use chat append. Let's just test what they're doing. Yeah, so that's kind of what we want there. Append content inputs. Result to data stream response. System helpful assistant. Messages. I don't know why we have handle input change. Set append. Let's see what's actually going on. This is where things get tricky, right? Is there a handle input change inside the use chat model? Use chat, initial message, initial input on. Handle submit. What does this return? Handle submit. I don't think there is a handle input change, right? So again, this is where like things get dangerous with AI, where you take 10 giant steps forward and then you take like 6 giant steps backwards, just trying to figure out what's actually happening here. So chatbot, where's the core stream text? Well, actually, let's look at use chat on this side, right? Initial input, initial messages, on tool call, on response. If set to stream protocol should be text, I guess. Let's see how many orgs are in Directus. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? Okay, so now we're seeing the text being streamed in. If I wanted to select this, I can't because of what we've got set up in Directus. But 18 minutes in, like we've got chat with AI models, we've got tool calling, we are somewhat through, like maybe we strike through half of that. We do all this through a chat interface. All right, now, all right, let's dive into like persistence. What do you think of those names? What do you think of those names? Okay. Yeah, we should probably have some type of like markdown formatting here as well. Is that what's coming back from the actual API is just markdown? Yes. Okay, so do we have a markdown helper inside Directus? Directus issues. Let's just go markdown. Directives markdown. Can we access this directive? V markdown. V markdown. What are we binding that as? MD? VMD? VMD. Okay. So can we do this? VMD equals message.content. Obviously, we're going to lose that. Heyo. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting some formatting. Looking nice. Looking nice. Okay. Get specific fields from a collection. Here to help you work with Directus collections. What do we have inside the database? Right. Contacts. Who is the coolest contact in our CRM. Each of these contacts has their own interesting qualities. Without knowing your specific criteria for coolness, it is hard to definitively say who is the coolest. Edon kind of sounds like Elon. This might be a playful reference. Who knows? Who knows? All right, so this is super interesting, right? Let's work on persistence. Let's work on persistence to our Directus database. What would the best data model be, knowing the structure for messages? So if we look at stream object, stream text, and like our endpoint here is just streaming back the pipe text stream to response. Is there like a pipe data stream? Yeah, there you go. That's how we could get the actual messages. Pipe data stream to response. Send message data object. Okay. And then we should be able to, like inside our module, we can use this stream protocol. Let's just set this and see if this is going to work as well. Heyo. Okay. But now instead what we're getting back is actually the message data as well, which is probably what we're going to want. All right. What did you come up with, friend? So we've got messages, conversations, messages. So this is actually trying to give us a Directus schema, which kind of scares me a bit. So we got a user, conversations, we got an ID, we got a title, we got a message schema, messages, ID, conversation, role, content, tool calls, tool results. Okay, so this is the type of response we're getting back. I'm just going to save that. Right? All right, that was the payload that we sent. What is the response that we got back? Okay, and now got 12 minutes left just to like try to round this out, see if we can get this persistence part of it. All right, so we're going to create conversations. This is going to be a UUID for the ID. Created at for the timestamp. Created by. Updated at. Updated by. We'll just go with what AI said here. I really don't want to think too much about this. We'll do a many to one relationship here. We'll call that the user. The related collection we're going to use is Directus _ users, which show a link to the item. Great. And then we're going to go in and create what? Messages. Messages. These are going to be, what did it say there? That's a UUID. Yeah. UUID. Conversation. Yes. We'll link those together. Content. Oh, not created at. Created at for the timestamp. Created at. Okay. We're going to have a role for that. Role is going to be what? That could be a drop down, so we could set that up as a drop down if we wanted to. User, that's going to be user or assistant. Too many A's, assistant. Too many S's. Too many S's. All right, and then we have the message content, which I think is going to be markdown. Content. We could say tool calls. Tool calls. Tool results. I don't know if this is actually going to be it or not. Tool results, ID, conversation. Then we're just going to link this together. I add a many to one relationship here. Conversation. The related collection is going to be conversations. We're going to show a link. And what I'm going to do, I almost always go into the advanced field relationships or the advanced mode when creating fields. I'm going to add the reverse here. So I'm going to add all the messages to this conversation. Great. And okay. So now create conversation, load conversation, save a message, use chat persistence. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's just roll with it. It's going to create a new composable. Use chat persistence. Sometimes it's fun just to shut your brain off and totally just not think about it. That's fun of this show, honestly. Like, how fast can we turn something? So let's go back to our module. We're going to import this. The actual import is just going to be from use chat persistence. And there is no handle input change, right? Handle submit, load conversations, handle submit, use chat, stream protocol, save message. vModel input. We do have inputs. We need to import onMounted watch from view. Use chat persistence. What's that going to be? .js. Or is that just like a default? No. Export function, use chat persistence. Why is it not picking that up? Oh, because it's in the same directory. Duh. All right. 7 minutes remaining. Let's see what happens now. AI on top of AI, building AI. How can you help me? All right, so we'll just watch the network request here. That's finished. I don't see another network request. Oh, maybe you got to refresh first. How can you help me? Oh boy. I'm not sure if you can see what's going on here, but we are going to be bricking this instance very quickly if we continue that. So, conversations, right? What do we do here? We've created some type of infinite loop. Thank you, AI. Love it. We're going to load conversations on Mount, watch conversations. Where are we getting the ID? Oh, why are we passing it? Yeah, why do we don't want that? Is that what it is? save message. Is that where the problem came in at? I don't know. It's saving the same ID. Test. Nope, still there. All right, so you messed up, bro. You introduced an infinite loop. Why did you do that? Is it somewhere in our composable load message? Handle submit function calls itself recursively. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What did you change? Handle submit await append using all right. Now, is it possible to nuke all of these? Let's just nuke all these messages, right? I'm going to go straight to the database. Boom, boom, boom. This is fun. I like messing around with this AI stuff. We're just going to nuke all of these conversations. There's 80 million conversations as well. Maybe now this will actually work. Oh, some type of error handling there. It just disappears. Hey-oh. Okay, so now we should be getting back to where we need to be. Messages. There we go. It's not saving the conversations correctly. Conversation. Current conversation. What is the current conversation? Current conversations .ref. Well, no, there we go. We're creating a conversation. So current conversation .value, save message, current conversation .value. So why isn't it creating a conversation? Let's say create conversation. So we're going to create a conversation when we load this. And maybe that'll fix the persistence issue. There's the conversation. Test message. Some type of stream issue going on there. But if we now go to conversations. No. Gremlins in the AI. This is why you don't have AI do your coding for you. Super helpful though, right? No chance I would have gotten here as far as we have in an hour without this tool. Obviously lots of bugs and interface issues to squash before that. How many deals do we have outstanding? Let's try a simpler query. Deal stage ID. Are there deals? I thought there were deals. Maybe it doesn't know enough about the... Maybe it just doesn't know enough about it. I know I've introduced some bugs. I kind of want to end on a high note here, but we're running out of time, right? We're going to call it good. Let's end on a good one. What kind of collections do we have here? Organizations, deals. You could probably feed it like the current user as well. That's going to be like accountability, maybe? I don't know. How many open tasks activities are there? Structure of the activities collection. Man, you just ruined this. How many orgs are there? I can't even end on a working example. Sometimes that's how these things go. How many organizations are there? Yeah, we're now getting like to crazy mad errors that we broke something. All right, so there it is. Some type of weird infinite recursion glitch that I have introduced by just leveraging AI and tabbing and accepting. So now there's a lot of debugging involved in this. But this is a great example of the power of Directus, the power of AI, Vercel AI SDK. Whoever's working on this, if you watch this, amazing work on this to make this sort of stuff really easy and accessible and quick to pick up. Boom, goes the dynamite. That's it for this episode of 100 Apps, 100 Hours. I hope you will stay tuned for the next episode. Ciao.